Good evening, and welcome to Interlude. My name's Nadine Pierre. I've been grappling with a quote by Brene Brown, which says, "Integrity is choosing courage over comfort. It's choosing what's right over what's fun, fast, or easy. And it's practicing your values, not just professing them." So I've been contemplating what that really means to me in my life. Where do I stand in integrity, and where do I misstep? And I know that living my life in integrity means a lot to me. It's all about choices, right? Because when I stick with what I know aligns with my values and will make a difference for me or for someone else, the choice is simple. Doesn't mean it's an easy choice, though. For example, at work, after George Floyd's death, there were about 3 people on the team that I serve who reached out to check on me and see how I was doing. So our team started having conversations about racism and discrimination. Now, as the only Black manager in home health at my branch, I knew it was not going to be comfortable nor easy, but it was the right thing to do. It certainly made for interesting conversations, especially when the team that I serve is predominantly white. But they were open to it and even sent me videos and articles to spark conversation. So as I saw it, our team chose courage. We chose what was right and to practice our values. We knew and understood that in order to develop the courage to be able to speak up when necessary and stand up for what's right, we had to be willing to face being uncomfortable and practice with each other. We may not have known each other's specific personal values, but we had an understanding that each person would have the space to speak authentically and express freely, without judgment. We knew that being courageous with these conversations also meant that we would sometimes stumble and falter. And building the resilience to get back up is what we were practicing. It was that silent, agreed upon understanding of being compassionate with each other while holding each other accountable for who we are in the face of love for all that would in turn assist us in being able to be love and be compassionate for the patients we serve, for our coworkers, leaders, and within our communities. So, let's create safe spaces for each other, shall we? Let's take a couple of deep breaths. And you may or may not wish to close your eyes. Breathe in. And breathe out. Air flows in. Air flows out. Love flows in. And love flows out. One. Oneness. one love, one source. One source of all there is. I am one with that source. I am one with the source of all. You are one with the source of all there is. We are one with the source of all there is. We create the space of love, for one another. We are one with the source of all. We are one with the source. We are one. You are one. I am one. I am you. And you are me. I am you. And so it is.
Good evening. My name is Reverend Nina Clark, and I'm the Associate Minister here at Unity in Lynnwood. And I welcome you to our midweek interlude service, where we provide this space for all of us to just stop and recenter, collect ourselves, and get ready for the rest of our week. As many of you know, and some of you may not, I've actually spent the last several years studying and training to become an ordained Unity minister. And one of the things that arose out of this work is a personal mission statement. It was part of the work that we had to do, which interestingly for me had its rudimentary birth at a time when I was about 12 years old, when I told a friend of mine that I considered myself to be a catalyst for change. And how I state that now, many years later, is that my mission is to be a catalyst for spiritual awakening, both individual and collective. Buddhist activist Reverend Angel Kyoto Williams writes, "Love and justice are not two. Without inner change, there can be no outer change. And without collective change, no change matters." So, given my personal mission statement, it should be no surprise that this quote speaks deeply to me, and I feel speaks to the message that I've been sharing every time I get the chance to open my mouth. I feel that as those of us with our feet on the spiritual path, the most important work we do is the work inside of ourselves. Without that inner work, our outer lives do not change. And it's what we teach here in Unity. It's what we teach in New Thought. In Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore's own words, everything in divine order grows from center to circumference, from within to without. In my humble opinion, we have to wake up individually first, because I think that that's the only way it works. I can't do your work for you, and you can't do my work for me. So we start with ourselves. But I don't believe that the end game is that we do this work just for our own gain. I don't see Unity teachings as being just about prosperity for self, healing for self, abundance for self, peace for self alone. When I look at what our co-founders did, it was not all about them. It started with them. It included them. But it wasn't all about them. In fact, they wrote a covenant which reads as follows. We, Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore, husband and wife, hereby dedicate ourselves, our time, our money, all we have and all we expect to have, to the Spirit of truth, and through it, to the Society of Silent Unity. It being understood and agreed that said Spirit of truth shall render unto us an equivalent for this dedication in peace of mind, health of body, wisdom, understanding, love, life, and an abundant supply of all things necessary to meet every want without our making any of these things the object of our existence. In essence, Charles and Myrtle are stating that they expect to be supported in order to do the work in the world that they feel inspired, divinely inspired to do. The getting of things was not the object of their existence. Unity doesn't teach, I am the only one. Unity teaches that I am of the one, that I am a drop in the ocean of consciousness, as a drop of the ocean is to the ocean itself. We teach that all of us are part of the one. So the work we do is not just about self, it's about all of us. What I believe is that as we wake up, as we come to know our wholeness, we simultaneously wake up to our oneness. We wake up to the knowing that we are all connected. We wake up to the knowing that what we do to another, we do to ourselves. We wake up to Ubuntu, that what you do to me lives on in you, and what I do to you lives on in me. We wake up to the knowing that we are all in this together. When I know my wholeness and my oneness, I no longer see you as separate, as other, and that changes how I move in the world. When you do your inside work and come to love yourself, and you no longer see others as separate from you, you are different in the world. Our teachings are called unity, and I believe this applies to unity of self and unity of us. Unity of self means we know ourselves to be whole. It means that we welcome all the stranded parts of ourselves home. And through our practice, we come to know ourselves as whole, and that we truly cannot not be whole. Unity of us means that the work we do, our inner work, is for the good of all, not just ourselves. Myrtle herself taught us that. Spiritual awakening is the key, she told us. That is what truly matters. And spiritual awakening is about waking up to the truth of who and what we are. And who and what we are is of the one. Unity teaches that it all starts in consciousness. Unity teaches this as true both on an individual and collective level. Our thoughts have power and influence our world both individually and collectively because the two are not separate. Therefore, whatever we hold in our consciousness or subconscious, we will uphold in our outer world. Whatever we hold in our consciousness or subconscious, we will expect to see in our outer world. Right now in our world, we are seeing the manifestation of our belief in separation. As long as separation lives inside of us, we will continue to create it outside of us in the form of societal structures of division and separation. As long as separation lives inside of us, we will continue to uphold it outside of us in the form of societal structures of division and separation. As long as separation lives inside of us, we will continue to ignore those social structures of division and separation because we can't see them if we're comfortable with them existing inside of us, if we're so familiar with the belief of separation living inside of us. Reverend Angel tells us, when you have the commitment to deepen a practice in which you reconnect those parts of yourself that you left behind, when you can practice centering into presence as many times as you possibly can, over and over and over again, when you choose not just to love, but to be you, then, and only then, you may just have room to love me too. The Reverend Michael Beckwith is quoted as having said, "The world is changing based on individuals who are doing their inner work, doing their deep and embodied prayer, and doing their magnificent identification with the ineffable power, presence, and love of God." And this starts with healing the relationship with ourselves. And we don't need to wait until we are perfect before acting in the outer world. We just need to let our actions and words be driven from however much stillness we are able to cultivate within through our of centering into presence and centering into the stillness again and again and again. Tonight, for our meditation practice, I'd like to share a Zen practice based on the work of Reverend Angel Kyoto, who was using the same basic instructions given by a 12th century Zen master, Dojin. So we start by finding our ground. You want to find your comfortable seat. Really find your sits bones, those bony protrusions, and make sure that they're really, really firmly connected to the seat beneath you, whether that's your cushion or your chair, whatever you're sitting on. You want to have a sense of stability so that when you think about moving, that moving doesn't automatically happen. You want it so that you're so firmly rooted that it takes some effort actually to move you from your seat. You want to have a strong and solid seat. And from there, we build upwards. Sit upright, pressing your crown towards the sky. What that does is to create length in your spine. When you open into your full length, you're actually expressing your dignity, your inherent dignity. And now we create a sense of width and relationship from the left to the right. And the way you do that is to really push your shoulders outward, away from your ears. You'll know that you're doing that because you'll feel a sense of your rib cage expanding, exposing the heart, and you'll generate and feel more of a sense of the relationship with the world, rather than other forms or approaches to meditation that actually tend to turn you so far inward that you actually feel cut off from the world. This practice is designed to allow us to feel fully present in relationship with the world. And you want to be well-centered, not pitching forward or backwards, and not tipping to the left or the right. This creates a sense of dynamic tension. So now you have this strong base. You have dynamic tension going to the sides as well as up and down. So now simply allow your elbows to just fall down by your side. Imagine that you have an egg underneath your armpit. It's a raw egg, so you don't want to squeeze it too tightly. And you don't want your arms out so far that the egg falls and breaks. It should feel like a soft, rested place. And just allow your hands to just rest in your lap. Or if you prefer a particular way of holding your hands, a mudra of having the hands folded on top of one another, you can do that as well. And finally, just do a little bit of swaying, both to the sides and front and back, so that you can find that sweet spot that's in the middle of both of those directions. And now you should feel grounded and centered. Now exhale one long out breath. We begin with an out breath because we're often overstimulated, and so an in breath stimulates us. If we begin with one long out breath, releasing all of the air you have in your belly, in your chest, and allow your center of gravity to drop down and rest in your belly. And when nothing is left, simply allow the diaphragm, release the diaphragm, and just continue with natural breathing. Because our belly is the center of our action, it's where we keep what matters most to us. And we keep that rooted and at the very center of our being so that we can maintain what's important to us. And now try to just cast your eyes downward. If it's too difficult, go ahead and start with your eyes closed, but we're encouraged to try to keep the eyes just slightly open so that you let a little bit of light in and you remain in relationship with your surroundings. Then simply notice your breath, and whatever the quality of your breath is, it may be short, it may be long, it may feel deep, or it may feel shallow. Perhaps it's very smooth, or perhaps it is feeling unsettled. Whatever it is, there's no need to actually change it in any way. So there's no effort involved in noticing the breath as it is, other than the effort of the attention. Where you choose to keep your attention on the breath should be wherever it feels most notable to you, most prominent, most alive for you. Whether it's the nostril or by your lips, or if your lips are slightly parted, the breath as it goes by, or maybe it's your chest, perhaps your belly. Wherever it is, it's not important, but rather that you are comfortably able to keep your attention or bring your attention to the breath. Consider whatever place you've chosen to be your single point of practice for this evening. And whenever you notice that your attention has left your breath, it may happen in just a second. It may happen in 10 seconds. It may happen in 10 minutes. It doesn't really matter when. Whenever you notice that your attention has wandered from your breath, you simply pick the attention up and bring it back to your breath. And when it's any place else, when it's thinking about dinner or it has wandered off to the sounds that are far away outside of you, lawnmower, birds, airplane, whether it's replaying the conversation you had earlier or something that's happened in the past that you wish you could have done differently, or even if it's just wondering, why can't I keep my attention on my breath? Just simply bring your attention back to the point of your meditation. You can let the thoughts just keep doing what they do and just allow your attention to be on your breath. In this way, what we come to understand is that meditation is not so much, in this particular practice, it's not so much about whether you keep your attention on a particular point, but rather it's about whether you choose to bring yourself back. Bring yourself back once you have lost it. So there is a releasing of a fixation, of staying on a particular point of awareness of the breath, but rather allowing ourselves to develop the capacity to notice when we're someplace other than where we choose to be. Let's just practice for a few moments, finding that place of attention on our breath, nostril, lip, chest, abdomen, whatever that is for you. Just allow your attention to rest on your breath. And if you wander away, just bring your attention back. Notice that you've wandered and bring your attention back. Finally, as we draw our practice to a close, we can simply bring a sense of gratitude for the entire range of experience that we have during our practice, both the times when we are able to pay attention to our breath and the times that we wandered off, and especially the times that we decided to come back to whatever it was that we chose to make our focus, as many times as we need to do it, over and over again, and just appreciate the entire experience for what it is. And so it is.
Thank you, Nina. And thank you so much for being here with us this evening. Now you have an opportunity to give. So if you would like to donate this evening, there will be some information that will appear for you on the slide. And whether you choose to use the text to give or click on the donate button in the website or mail us a check, we really want to thank you for your generosity. As we bring this midweek service to a close, we are reminded to release what does not serve, whatever that is. I am and have all that I seek. And call on the you that you seek. It takes courage to be, to show up and be seen. So let's repeat these words of affirmation. Here's who I choose to be. I choose to look in the mirror and see my truth. I know my truth and my power. I look at the blank pages of tomorrow. It takes courage to be me authentically. I am all that I seek. I rise up, put pen to paper, and create my life. I live. I love. I laugh. I serve. Every act of love towards myself and others inspires more love. We stand up in support of one another. All sisters and brothers in love. My life matters. My voice matters. I matter. living courageously, being authentically audacious, daring to be me. This is who I choose to be. For me and for the world. And so it is. Let's do this.
I release and I